One of these is yours. Both come from like so. You're welcome. I'll go and find this camera and city stage, right? Is there stage left? Sorry? Okay. Oh, I see where that's so. Yeah. I was trying to figure out if I had two extra. Good, good. Yeah, sorry. I was going to public serving during the meeting.
All of the mayor candidates, that is. So all of those running for mayor, we need you to come to the stage. All right, it's going to be really tricky. We need everybody to be quiet. The acoustics in here kind of works against us, so all the people in the foyer need to come and sit down, please. We need all the mayor candidates to come to the stage. Thank you. And everybody else, if you could please find a seat. We are going to need to have absolute quiet in the audience tonight for a number of reasons. One is obviously so we can hear the candidates, but we're also live streaming. The town of Beaumont is live streaming. So we want to make sure that there's little background noise as possible. Hi, my name is Lisa Vanderquack, and I'm the president of the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, I want to welcome you here tonight and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and to hopefully make an informed decision about who the next mayor of Beaumont will be. We're going to go over a few instructions so this evening can run a little smoother. And before I introduce our moderator, it is really warm in here. If you do need to talk to someone beside you, I would just encourage, for an extended period of time, please, I encourage you just to leave, because any bit of noise does carry in this space. And again, you want to be able to hear the candidates and be able to minimize the background noise. So, a few instructions if you have a cell phone, which probably everybody here does. If you can put it on mute, please. Also, I think 93.1 are here as well. They're not going live tonight, but they're here, so thank you very much for coming, covering this event. We had a packed house last night, and many of you were here. So similar to the format last night, we'll go over that as well, and have a little bit more time for our candidates to answer some of the questions. I want to read to you, for those of you who may or may not know, the eligibility to run in a municipal election are very few requirements. So whether you knew that or not, I just want to let you know what they are. You have to be at least 18 years of age, a Canadian citizen, and have been a resident of the local jurisdiction for the last 6 months consecutively before the election, and have otherwise and are not otherwise ineligible or disqualified. And then there's a few areas that would disqualify you that goes into criminal things, or if you haven't paid your taxes or things like that. So really important stuff, right? And I tell you that because it's really your responsibility as a resident of Beaumont to do your due diligence and to make sure that the person that we vote in, or the people that we vote in for the 7 council members, one of them being the mayor, are the people that can take Beaumont to the next level. Because you may agree with me that we're very much at a pivotal time in the history of Beaumont in terms of what's next in our development. And I believe we need to have the right leaders to take us there. So I just want to encourage you to do due diligence. I read a quote recently that said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you ponder that, it's pretty deep actually. It talks a lot about consistency and about integrity. And so you need to be asking yourself, what are the things that you're looking for or you think is necessary in a mayor, in the council members? And be asking that question as you're listening to yourself as you're listening tonight. So tonight we're going to go through a number of questions. When you came in, you probably received a piece of paper. If you have not received a piece of paper and you wanted to ask a question, I'm going to write a question down. The way we're going to do this, you're going to write it on a piece of paper, and then we will have people collect those pieces of paper, and as much as possible get through them all, if possible. If not, we will just randomly, or select ones that maybe some have been repeated, so we'll just obviously take one of those. So anybody here right now needs a piece of paper? You want to raise your hand? Okay. So if you have your question on a piece of paper and you need someone to pick it up, hold the piece of paper in your hand and someone will come and pick it up. Just keep it up. We have a few runners. So now you can put those in, as well as during the opening statements of our candidates. We will also do a final collection just before we move into our question period as well. And if we run out of questions, we'll ask for more. So before further ado, I'm just going to introduce you our moderator, who is going to take over the rest of the evening. And this is Albert Rosborough, who is our Director of Policy of Beaumont Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for attending. We had a wonderful crowd here last night, and it looks like we're having the same size crowd tonight, so that's fantastic. I am following in big footsteps. Ron Vanderchuk was the moderator last night, so I will try to do my best to emulate his skills. So, welcome to all the candidates. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. I know it's very challenging to have a job interview with all of these folks, so good luck to you. Tonight's format will be similar to last night's. Our candidates will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves here at the lectern. Then we'll be going through a series of your questions, interspersed with questions that are created by the Chamber itself. And then we will have a time at the end at 8 p.m. to have everyone wrap up for 3 minutes. So I'm hoping to get through lots of different questions. If we have some really exciting questions, we may ask everyone those questions as well. So please bear with us as we go through this process, and like Lisa said, if you have a question that you'd like answered, put your hand up with your paper and someone will come and get it. For those of you who don't know, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting this evening's event. It was hosted by the Chamber last night. And so if you have any questions about the Chamber, please feel free to come to anyone with a Chamber name tag on and inquire about the Chamber if you're a member or if you'd like to become one. Thank you so much. So we'll get started. Number 1.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you tonight. My promotional material is pretty basic: growing Beaumont together. Optimum conditions for optimum growth. Talk to me. That's because my campaign is about you. Who are you? What is important to you? How do you think we should resolve the issues at hand? How can you contribute to creating optimum conditions for optimum growth? How can I help you do that? How do we come together to build on what we have? How do we make our light shine? I am here to help you understand our municipal processes. I want you to be part of our municipal process. Optimum conditions means the best and most suitable option without a range of possibilities. Optimum conditions for municipal growth include communication, the quality or state of speaking clearly, of being transparent. Collaboration. Collaboration is a process of working with someone else to make someone more. Cooperation, the process of working together. Optimum growth requires faith, trust or confidence in another. Patience, the capacity to accept or tolerate the passage of time. Nurturing, to genuinely care for and encourage the growth and development of another. These are the conditions that I would like to foster as your leader. My name is Carrie Bauer.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick Colvin, please.
I'm Patrick Cobley. I want to be your mayor, not the mayor, your mayor. I believe in Beaumont. I believe in building a better Beaumont. I believe that we can do that through public engagement, building prosperity, and creating a future we can all benefit from. I love kids running lemonade stands. It takes a lot of bravery for 2 8-year-olds to sit out on the street selling lukewarm Kool-Aid. They're putting themselves out there. It's time Beaumont learned from our kids and did the same. We need to sell our fantastic town and actively seek out new business. À l'heure actuelle, nos besoins immédiats dans cette ville sont de réparer notre solde fiscal et de créer des entreprises qui créent des emplois. Des emplois réels qui soutiennent des familles. Juste ici, dans votre ville. Donc, il n'est pas nécessaire de voyager tous les jours pour vivre ici. Our town motto is, life is better in Beaumont, but I'd like it to be building a better Beaumont. And that is why it's my campaign theme. It's time we believed enough in ourselves to build what we actually need. Let's start building. Let's actively seek new commercial development. Let's make it easier for our partners to keep building. And when we build stuff, do it on time, on budget, and right. My dad was mayor here for many years. Those are years of significant growth and fiscal responsibility. We need to make better spending decisions. I will work with council to review every operational program and every capital project to make sure we get value for your tax dollar. I know many of my competitors believe it's not possible, but I know it is. As a council, we will work to hold the line on property taxes in the first 2 years of our mandate, with the goal of reducing taxes in the final 2 years. I love this town. I always have. I love putting on my hat, grabbing my kids, and heading to the next lemonade stand. And I would love to be your mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Bruce LaCrone.
Tonight, I see our founding families, friends, and business partners gather here. I thank you for your hard work and the service that created our town, enabling us to grow into the the safe and beautiful community that we all call home. That rapid growth has placed tremendous pressure on our town, and I am very proud that we have not only maintained our infrastructure, but also realized the dream of our new community hall, begun a permanent transit service, and have added or are building 180,000 square feet of new commercial space. I will work to find the ways and means to build Aquafit Phase 2. This facility is needed today for the children and families who cannot access organized sports now. The Duke County will cooperate with us to build that facility, and together we have begun talks to assemble the reserve lands necessary for our future recreational multiplex. We both agree a future facility is needed, but it is realistically 8 to 10 years away. I support our arts and culture community, applaud the work of the Heritage Society, and I support the dream of creating a performing arts theater in Beaumont. Now, Edmonton's veto of our municipal development plan was strictly about their plan to annex quarter sections of land from Beaumont. This afternoon, I was informed by an email from our CAO that Edmonton has taken initial steps to begin that formal annexation process. Last January, the province agreed that our annexation was necessary for Beaumont's sustainability. As the mayor, I will not jeopardize the sustainability of Beaumont for our children and grandchildren, and that is the reason I will not give up 1 acre of Beaumont. As your next mayor, I will work with all stakeholders to develop a new business park by offering incentives to develop and service the 4 quarter sections south of Highway 625 quickly, thus accelerating the industrial development that the region needs. I'm Bruce LeCren. Thank you very much for being here, and listening to all the candidates.
Mr. Gil Portress.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the Chamber for allowing us to come here this evening to tell you what it is we want, why we want to be the Mayor of Beaumont. My name is Gil Poitras, and I've lived in Beaumont for over 25 years. I've had 2 grown-up daughters, and I've been married for 29 years. I work in Nisku for a steel joist manufacturer, and as the safety advisor and shipping coordinator for over 5 years. I've been self-employed and worked in a supervisory and management role for years. I have worked with numerous community organizations in Beaumont, and have been involved with provincial and federal political parties over the years. I've been a coach in both soccer and hockey, and worked with a dedicated group of volunteers to build the Beaumont Water Play Park. I love Beaumont, and I want to help make it life is better in Beaumont again. I have run for the mayor's position in the past, and when this year's election was getting closer, I was approached by some business owners and residents and asked if I would consider running again. They want a mayor that is experienced, approachable, and sincere, committed, and has integrity, has a proven record of fighting for what the residents want, and will represent the entire community. I was told they want someone that can work with all of council and assist the new councillors to learn the ropes. They want someone with a vision for tomorrow, someone that wants to improve all areas of the community and how things are done. After reviewing everything, I asked myself, are you ready for the next 4 years of total commitment to those duties? The answer was yes. While discussing and evaluating with my family, it became clear. Thank you.
Ms. Casey Summers.
My name is Casey Summers, and the reason why I elected to run for mayor is I thought it was the best place from which I could effectuate change in the community of Beaumont. I am looking at, like, if I'm elected mayor, reducing the property tax that you pay, and actively will work to quash the Bill Act that penalizes homeowners, business owners, farmers for upgrades and enhancements to the interior, exterior infrastructure, which in most cases after reassessment leads to an increase in property taxes. I also will be looking at the planning, the designing, the building of a new high school, a multi-service and recreational center, which will replace many existing businesses and recreation facilities. I want to open the door for those who wish to come into the town to start up a business and assist business owners in any way that I can in doing this. The current administration has impeded some business from doing so in the past, and I want to remove those barriers. I want to look at an increase in the transportation services, shuttle service to the international airport, shuttle service throughout the day, 7 days a week. And it will be tailor-made for the residents in Beaumont. And that will take the people from Edmonton. One of the services will be taking the people from Edmonton to Beaumont, no, rather Beaumont to Edmonton, sorry. And with a stopover at Walmart to do shopping. Once you get into the city, there'll be a stopover at the Medi Center, medical imaging, and so forth. There will also be group rates if teens or people want to go to hockey games or concerts. You'll be able to use the shuttle buses, which I'd like to purchase 3 of them to utilize that for that purpose. I would like to see garbage pickup in around the town increase to once a week, from once every 2 weeks at no cost for the service for those paying property taxes to the town. A weekend recreational program for the youth, which will run Friday and Saturday till 12 midnight and 1 a.m. Those are a few of the things that I'd like to look at changing.
And finally, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the forum tonight. My name is John Stewart, and I want to be your mayor. Like you, I'm extremely proud of Beaumont. My family and I love living in this community, and like you, we expect more from our government. We need excellent civic services, less crime, responsible spending, sustainable planning, and infrastructure for today and our future. But let's frame this discussion a little bit. The role of council is to provide leadership to the town and to represent its citizens. In order to do that effectively, council needs to be and act as a cohesive team. Additionally, they need to incorporate into that team the leadership from the administration that does the day-to-day operations in our town. As ultimately, it's the administration and excuse me. Ultimately, it's the administration and the staff members of town that execute the policies that council enacts. Combined and unified, that team can do great things quickly for this town. But the team is only as effective as its leader, which is the role of the mayor. We need a mayor with proven leadership abilities. I have a proven ability to lead teams and manage people. In most of my adult life, in both my career and my volunteer roles, I have held and continue to hold leadership positions. Currently, I am a project manager for the local engineering firm, and I lead my team on multiple large and small projects all across Western Canada. I am also the president of the Beaumont Soccer Association. I've been held that position for 4.5 years. Our residents are counting on town council to enact the best value for their tax dollars. Business owners and entrepreneurs are counting on council to ensure they get municipal cooperation and the support they need to boost the local economy. Families of all ages are counting on council to provide safe communities and accessible and affordable recreational alternatives. Council depends on the mayor to lead. Under my leadership, town council almost made it.
Thank you all for your opening remarks. So we will hear from each of them as they close in reverse from how you heard them open today. We're going to begin with a question, number 1, from the Chamber of Commerce questions, just to kick it off in the spirit of the Chamber of Commerce. And the first person to answer a Chamber of Commerce question will be Patrick Coley. And Mr. Coley, your question, you can answer it from your table there, sir, is Beaumont has faced its share of business failures in the past. As a councillor or a mayor, what role should you take to promote the business community?
Thank you. It's straight out of the gate. Good, fantastic question from the chamber. I think for the council's role, certainly the mayor's role, has to be to start a buy local, and certainly to be working on cutting red tape that currently exists and is hampering business development. We also have to make sure that we support existing businesses that have been around here for decades. We've had in the past while a number of businesses that have had a rough go of it because of some of the things that have happened with the 50th Street redevelopment of the 50th Ave streetscape. It's caused some concern for some developers. Also, the Central Area Redevelopment Plan and some of the impacts of that on some of the business have been kind of unforeseen. We did take a look and cut back on the red tape that's caused.
Thank you. So now we'll start our questions one at a time. I'll start with Mr. LeCrun. What specific thing will you do differently than the previous two mayors?
Yeah, okay. I can only answer half of that because I wasn't around when Mayor Colby was mayor, I believe. What I would do differently, we can always do things better. So I would increase our social media presence, our outreach, and our consultation. I will, first thing I want to do is sit down with the new council and hear from every one of them what they've all heard from you, and use that to inform our strategic plan going forward for the next 5 years. So those are a couple of things that I would do differently and I would enhance on. And basically extending our outreach to the community, following our strategic plan, and liaising with you, the residents, through social media, through community workshops, design charrettes, and anything else like that comes up as issues arise.
Mr. Portress, everyone keeps talking about how reducing red tape and making it easier for businesses to open in Beaumont. Do you support an increase in town staff and resources to support this growth?
The issue with town staff has been a major issue for a lot of years. I know in some departments there's definitely a shortage. At the same time, what you have to do as a mayor and as a council, as a town, is you have to weigh how many new staff you can bring in with how high you're going to raise the taxes to cover those costs. I do believe we need more staff in a number of departments, and I believe that if we put them in the right position to be able to help us bring in more business, to improve on some of the things that are going on, they pay for themselves. So I do believe there is a possibility to get this done without affecting the taxes, and that's the key.
Ms. Summers, please describe your vision for Beaumont in the next 20 years. What does Beaumont look like? How did we get there? What did you do as a mayor to set that stage?
I would like to see in the next 20 years for Beaumont to know that this is a community that they can actually be proud of, and that the mayor of Beaumont actually will listen to their real needs, not trumped up needs that, you know, and stuff like that, but that the mayor, like I personally would actually have monthly meetings to meet with people to assess needs on an ongoing basis every single month, and be hearing from the community what their needs are, and in doing that and doing it ongoingly for the next 20 years, we can have a wonderful town. We can continue to have growth in the town. If we have things that attract people to Beaumont, our community is going to, you know, spread. It's going to be vast. It's going to be a lot more people. If they like what is going on in the town, they'll want to come here. If they don't, with one of the things like high property taxes, as that continues to go on the way it is, why would they come here?
Ms. Summers, you're finished. Thank you. Mr. Colby, how will you encourage the profitability of the transit system?
This is a question I've heard an awful lot of yours. The reality is right now we've signed in with green shirt funding on the buses, and we are not. The transit system is here to stay. I think one of the options that we do need to look at is one of the options that we should have looked at when we first started the program, which is we need to look at our neighbors in the Newton County. who are currently running a bus that's about a quarter-mile out of town. We could have significantly reduced costs had we worked with Livingston County and brought in shuttle buses instead of purchasing, for example, the long buses that we've used now. In addition, we'd have the opportunity to have a few bus stops throughout town instead of just the one stop at Ken-Nickel. We'd actually have a true transit system developing for less cost. That's ultimately what I think we need to do in order to move towards sustainability of the transit system. Thank you.
How would you, as mayor, address the issue of conflicting interests? With many candidates wearing many hats, this can be a common occurrence.
That is a really good question for me, since I live in the Central Core, and I can really respect someone who would ask me that. I think you create a culture within the town that we're not combatants, that we're ensuring that we have everyone's best interest at heart, and we don't have to, I think, play games so that, you know, accusing people of different things. I think that we should be okay if we create that supportive culture and go from there and ensure that everyone knows the rules of the municipal government.
Mr. Stewart, what is your vision and how will you support the advancement of the arts and culture in Beaumont?
What is my vision to support the arts and culture in the town of Beaumont? How many people know that there's a proposal out there to see arts facility come to Beaumont? Yeah. This is a great project. Arts and culture in your town is part of what makes your town a town. It allows people to get out and express themselves, and it brings people together in a social situation. Now, personally, I personally see that center as part of the larger multiplex system versus a standalone system, because the more things we can get together, the more cost efficiencies we can do. But one of my biggest things that I've always been supportive of is making sure the community groups in this town get the support they need to supply the programming that our residents do, because that's why we're a community.
We're going to do a couple questions and then we'll insert another chamber question, just because it doubles over. So, Mr. Lecren, hearing the council candidates last night, when approached with questions about our taxes, it was mentioned that they would try to do anything to avoid increasing our property taxes. What would you do as mayor to reduce our property taxes?
Well, we'd all like to pay less tax. I pay tax in Beaumont too. I don't like being in the top third of the tax communities in the capital region. We are already a very efficient community. We have a little over 200 employees for almost 19,000 people. Yes, we could do things more efficiently. Our administration has already implemented a program called priority-based budgeting, where we look at every single service provided by the town, and we do our best. If the service is needed, we cut it. If the service can be done more efficiently, we do that. As mayor, I will continue striving to deliver the services residents want in the most efficient way possible, but I cannot promise to reduce your taxes. I'm sorry.
A question from the floor to you, Mr. Fortress. Last night, I saw some council candidates wanted to downplay Beaumont's French Village theme. Will you work to promote the downtown French Village theme throughout the town or in the downtown core?
As I said the other night with the seniors, there's an issue with the French Village theme in the downtown, is that a lot of people over the years, and still today, do not understand what it is. It's never been properly explained why we do it, exactly what the whole project is of the downtown core French Village theme. Il y a personne qui est plus français que moi ici à Beaumont. Je peux faire français que n'importe qui ici. Je peux parler français le plus haut au Canada. Like I said, I am as French as anyone here in Beaumont, and I believe in a French village theme, but there are problems with it that cost money, and it's cost us business. We need to fix the costly mistakes. We need to find a way to promote it in a way that doesn't cost so much money for the businesses that want to work here. And if we can do that, then it's a win-win for everyone.
Ms. Summers, from the floor, do you support a hotel in Beaumont?
Definitely, because I've heard the great need for that, so that people don't have to go to Edmonton to stay. They don't have to stay at the Duke. They can do it right here. And there's actually a person that wanted to get that going, but he was impeded from doing that. And I've actually been in conversation with him. His name is David, and I have let him know if I become mayor of Beaumont, I will definitely open the door for him to do that.
I'm going to go to a chamber question now. Question number 2 is for Mr. Stewart. One of the hot topic items that continues to surface within the town is the types of businesses that open within the community. Do you think council should impose limits? Do you need that repeated, sir?
No, I'm good. Just need a couple seconds later. One of the hot topics, should types of businesses being invited into town should be imposed limits. I think we're talking about liquor stores. Alright? I'm kind of a free enterprise kind of guy. Alright, if a businessman wants to come into this town and they've done the numbers and they think they can make a go of it, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say no. Our role as council is not to limit businesses. Our role as council is to set the conditions and the policies that make it easy for them to come in here and thrive. So no, I'm not in favor of proposing limits.
So continuing on with our crowd questions. Mr. Coley, how will you build relationships with other municipalities on the Capital Regional Board?
Thank you. This is actually something I've already started to work on. Certainly chatting with both council candidates as well as councillors currently with Loudoun County, the city of Edmonton, and with Strathcona County. It becomes absolutely critical that we build these kinds of partnerships because we work in the same region. Our economic development, we're just as dependent on industry as Loudoun County is. We're just as dependent on that industry in order to grow our livelihoods as anybody else in the area is. So we need to be conscious of the impact that our decisions have on those regional partners, and we need to make sure that we're making those sort of decisions and building those relationships.
Ms. Bauer, what do you see as the single most urgent issue before council in the near future, and how do you plan to lead us through it?
I think the single most important issue right now is working with the City of Edmonton on our municipal development plan. I think we need to sit down and work with Edmonton. I think with the Capital Region Board, the whole premise with the Capital Region Board is that we are supposed to be doing what's good for all of us. And I do believe that the process is set up well, but I actually think that there might be something that we need to consider, and that is, did they go out of their scope when they denied or vetoed our municipal development plan? And I think we really need to sit down with them and sit down with the other municipalities to understand what truly happened there and why.
I'm being asked to ask all of you to speak up into the microphone. Thank you. This is a bit of an echoey space, so it's difficult. Thank you. Mr. Stewart, should Beaumont seek city status? Why or why not?
Beaumont seek city status? Under the Municipal Government Act, the only requirement really is we have to have a population base of 10,000 people. One of the advantages that I could see, because we hit that 18,000 mark, we could be a city. One of the advantages I see of becoming a city is that when people think of a town, they think of small places with 3,500 people out in rural Alberta. One of the major drivers we're talking about is bringing in business. When business thinks of cities, they think of bright, dynamic places that they want to come to and sell their goods. All right. I personally would be in favor of becoming a city, just for that reason. It's going to help us with our economic development. I'm not in favor of losing that tight community feel that we have, which is what I think most of this conversation revolves around when you're talking about town and city. But ultimately, this is one of the questions that I would actually put out to a plebiscite to the town and go with their wishes.
We're going to go to the question from the chamber. For number 3, Mr. Portress, your question is, the business community is a major employer, receives limited municipal services, pays significantly more in taxes, and has no specific vote in the election. Is there an inequity here? And if so, how should council address it?
It's always a tricky situation with business community because of the fact that some live here and do have a vote, some owners, some don't. What we need to do as a community is we need to try to promote them as much as we can so that they're listened to. We need to sit down with them, we need to work with them so that they can promote themselves and they're heard by the community, by the town, in a way that even though they can't vote, their voice is heard. And that's the one complaint that I've received from some of the business owners in town over the last little while is that they feel they're not being listened to, they feel they're not being heard. And that's one thing as mayor that I promised them that I would do is open the doors, not just for the businesses, but for everyone in town to be listened to and heard. And I believe that would help our situation and theirs quite drastically.
Back to the floor questions. Mr. LeCrème, how will you advocate and champion for minority groups in the community of Beaumont?
I've already reached out during this campaign to minority groups, the Assyrian community, the Aboriginal community, and representatives of those communities are setting up meet and greet events for me in their homes and in other venues around town. I'm going to continue that outreach. They have a voice here. We are on traditional Treaty 6 territory, and I want to acknowledge that right now. So the voice needs to be heard. I'm prepared to see that it is. Thank you.
Mr. Portress, from the crowd, what alternatives do you envision for seniors' affordable housing in Beaumont?
Again, this is an area where cooperation with various levels of government, with developers, we have numerous seniors here in the community, and I know I've talked to a number of people at the doors that say we probably would have more that would come or would love to move here to be with their grandkids if we had more seniors affordable housing. They just can't afford to do it at the moment. We need to encourage business, developers, and the provincial government into helping us come up with some of those particular facilities to open the door to as many of the seniors as possible that want to move to Beaumont. Whether it's, there's a number of different ways. It's not as easy as saying we're going to do this or we're going to do that. We have to work with different groups. We have to work with the provincial government, and we have to work with the developers. It's a matter of cooperation again. It's a matter of listening.
Thank you. Ms. Summers, in light of the recent annexation results, the area north of Beaumont. What are your thoughts for the community and how we will transition through this issue in its present boundaries?
I'm not aware, actually I have to be very honest with you, I'm not aware too much about the annexed properties. I am aware that, and I was made aware that Beaumont purchases a lot of properties and they're actually sitting there, and I believe taxes are being paid towards those properties, those annexed properties, which is taking from money that could be utilized better within the community. I will be doing more research in regards to annexed properties and things like that, but I have to be very honest, I don't know too much about that. My concentration has been on the needs of the community when it comes to seniors, the handicapped, the property taxes, things like that, things that are really hit home with people in the community, things that they're really concerned about. Annexed properties, I will look into it more. If I have the opportunity to speak to you about after more research into it, I can give you a better answer.
Thank you. Mr. Cobley, in local construction projects, would you use local contractors, and if so, what would you do? Any policies that you would create?
Thank you. So first, I would have loved to have answered that question that just happened. If you put that question forward, come grab me after the meeting. We'll chat about it. As far as local use of local contractors, absolutely. When we put out RFPs, when we're getting proposals back, they should be weighted on a point system. And part of that point system takes a look at price. Part of that point system takes a look at quality and history. And part of that point system takes a look at the use of local subs particularly, and if we've actually got prime contractors who are bidding on these from Beaumont, part of those points should be awarded for a local prime contractor as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mayoral, Beaumont is young and a growing community. You as mayor support a new multiplex that may or may not be built in the next few years. How will you talk about the benefit for young children and families to come? I don't know if that was well phrased. Can you tell us about your plans or your thoughts for the sports complexes to come?
Okay, thank you for the question. I'm hoping that this is, the way it was rephrased is the purpose of the question. I've never been a supporter of the phase 2 of the Aquafit. I don't believe that it is what we need for today or tomorrow. I don't think that there is a holistic approach taken to it. That's nothing new with respect to my opinion on that. But I think going forward, I think what we need to do is look at our facility and partly look to see if we can actually partner with other groups here in town. I know that there's a wonderful group just on the west end of town with 80 acres that I'm sure would love to partner with the town of Beaumont and possibly put in a multiplex, an RV site, an RV dump, and you know, there's lots of opportunities here in town. We don't have to, and I think that we can meet the needs of the families ahead.
My president has asked me to have everyone answer that question now that I've brought it up. So Mr. Stewart, if you wouldn't mind, we'll go through you and back through our candidates. Thank you.
Okay, my views on the multiplex.
Sorry, John.
Can you speak into the microphone a little bit more?
Is that better?
Yes. Same,
All right.
same thing. I'm sorry, Patrick as well. Just can you reset his time? We're just getting some feedback from people watching online that Patrick and John and sometimes the Summers that we can't hear you very well. So hold it closer to your mouth.
We need theater.
Right?
Yes, we do. You can also place company chairs, drink beverages. My views on the multiplex. The Aquafit 2, for me, is one of those projects that I was part of a group that's been lobbying long and hard over the last 3 years to try and get a multiplex built in the town of Beaumont. I'm not a fan of it because it landlocks us. We need to be building these projects so that we can easily and quickly expand them.
Right? One rink, one soccer center. Will we use it? Yes, we will. Every group in town, that thing is maxed. If you build it, it's maxed out. We'll get it done. We'll use it. But now we have to go to another location in town and start all over again. If we build a current Aquafit 2, we've locked out our pool, we've locked out fitness, we've locked out racket sports like racquetball and squash, and we've locked out our fitness. I personally see a vision of building a proper multiplex that we can build in phases, so we can build 2 rinks, 2 soccer centers, and quickly expand on them and build a tournament center. Brings businesses, brings hotels, brings facilities to our town. Thank you.
Mr. LeCran, the same question, please.
As I said in my opening statement, I will find the ways and means to build the Aquafit Phase 2. We do need this facility now for the children and for the families who cannot access organized sports in Beaumont today. Having said that, I understand the need for a future regional multiplex. We have had early talks with the new county. They are willing to keep talking to us about assembling the land bank for that future multiplex. We both agree it's going to be needed. It is realistically 8 to 10 years away. It could conceivably include all the things that Mr. Stewart has mentioned, as well as a full-size pool for a Triton Swim Club. They're bringing home national awards. They need a bigger tank as well. So there's a lot of needs. We have a lot of discussion to go as to exactly what those needs are, where it's going to be, and it's early days yet. But we are working on it, and it's coming. And so is Aquafit Phase 2. If I'm in there, I'm going to try very hard to build it. We do need it now for the people who can't get into sports now today. Thank you.
Personally, I'm not in favor of Phase 2 of the Aquafit for the same reason as what's happened in the past. If we build a facility that's too small, it puts us behind with the amount of money that we have to build a facility that we really need. We have to look outside the box to build that facility. We have such a demand for so many different facilities within this multiplex that we have to look with the county. We have to talk to the province. We have to talk to other groups. We might even have to sit down with the city to get them involved as well. We have to use cooperation to get it done. I've talked with provincial organizations that they say if you build a facility that we need here in Beaumont, they would love to put their clout behind helping us get grants, and they would have their provincial offices in that facility. That's cooperation with different groups. That's the only way we can build everything we need, is with cooperation with other associations as well as other municipalities. Thank you.
Ms. Summers, the same question, please.
Okay, myself, I don't want to be waiting like 8-10 years for this multiplex. We have more than enough money to start doing this now. But what I'd like to do is have a meeting with the public and assess what their needs are, what they'd like to see happen, and then formulate a plan from there. Because when we look at what is taken in by the town for property taxes alone, which is over 30 million to 50 million or up, if you were to look at the assessment roll and you were to see that the 301 pages, and if you were to do the math, we have more than enough money, not only to get going on this now, and forget about putting these upgrades and things like that into facilities that are old school. I walk into the Nickel Center, I walk to the Aquafit, and it's all old school. I'd like to see updated and get moving on it now, because we have the financial resources to do it.
Thank you, Ms. Summers.
So I've been asked this question a few times over the last year. We'll say, basically just about every door that sits in the knocking in Maine. And quite frankly, the result of that was I actually went and sat down with Pat Forge, who, if there's anybody who knows about building houses, is Pat. And so Pat told me a couple of things that were interesting. He said that, if we were to look at a non-traditional build, like an air sporting facility, like Talisman Center, that's been standing for 35 years in Calgary, we'd be looking at a facility with about the same life That's going to cost us about a quarter to half of what the Aquafit expansion is. So instead of $30 million, we're looking at about $8 to $15 million, which gives us some room to actually find a site. Okay? On top of that, it'll be ready quicker. We're for construction on those facilities, we're looking at about a year. So we can actually have skates on the ice a hell of a lot faster doing that method on a different site that's more appropriate to our neighbors than on the Aquafit 2 expansion. Thank you.
So I owe you a question, Mr. Stewart. We stopped with you and we did a group question. So your question from the floor is, crime rates seem to be increasing. Although crime is a police issue, what do you think council and the mayor and the town can do to make Beaumont safer?
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry, we heard
We heard crime.
My apologies. Crime rates. Crime. Not crime.
This is going to bring up to finance.
Crime rates seem to be increasing. Although crime is a police issue, what do you think council, the town, the mayor can do to make Beaumont safer?
Okay, now that we've clarified the question, talking about crime rates. Actually, interestingly enough, crime, as much as we think crime is increasing in the town, we get a lot of petty, we see a lot of petty crimes on Facebook. The reality is, in the report that was just put out by our RCMP this past spring, is our crime rates are in some areas have actually decreased, and they're actually going down. I think we're just a more connected community, so we tend to hear about it more, and therefore it brings more attention to it. However, having said that, there's always something else we can do to continue on with trying to do that. I'd like to look at a 3-tier policing model, where we started to bring in some part-time police officers. We can get them on the streets faster and quicker. It's a very effective model. They use it down in the States and down east a fair bit. And make sure they have the resources that they need so that we can address these issues and we get more eyes out there. Thank you.
I now have a question from the chamber to Mr. LeCren. What is one of the key items that you are willing to champion that will make a positive impact on the town's business community?
Actually, I've got a few things I'd like to do to champion the business community. Definitely continue champion and cooperate in the partnership with the chamber, because the chamber, I think, is the lead advocate for business in this community. I'd like to appoint a council liaison to the chamber. I'd like to have the chamber consult with our administration on the review of our land use bylaw, including the business signage and parking, when that bylaw is updated in 2018. I'd like to continue, obviously, shopping local whenever possible. When I first moved here, we traveled into Edmonton about every second day. Now I go about twice a month. I'd like to assist with business planning for new businesses to the chamber as well. When maybe new businesses want to start up, they may need help. We create a business plan and to move beyond the incubation stage. That is something that we can cooperate on as well. For drawing businesses to Beaumont, I'd like to continue support for our development officer, the chamber, and the Niskayuna Economic Development Association. I know our EDA, our EDO, pardon me, could probably use an assistant. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to shake it up a little bit so I get to do the moderator. We're going to ask everyone this question, starting with Mr. Portress and through to Mr. LeCren. This is a hot topic. It was a hot topic yesterday that wasn't unfortunately able to be asked. With the legalization of marijuana coming in 2018, where do you stand on this? And will you be a positive voice for or against Beaumont having some kind of businesses in relation to this?
Didn't know that was municipal yet, but I guess it will become. Personally, I'm not a fan of the law. I don't believe in it. The kind of work that I've done in the past, I don't see the logic of making this legal. Having said that, if the federal government imposes that law, we have to take steps to make sure that we do everything we can for our community to keep our community safe. businesses selling marijuana in town, unfortunately, the law says that if the law changes, it says that we have to allow it. So all we can do is try to put the rules in place so that there's not a lot we can do because it's a federal law. So our hands are tied in a lot of ways. Again, I'm not a proponent of that law. I don't believe it's a good idea. But as a community, we just need to try to make ourselves as safe as possible in whatever legal ways we can.
Because it is law, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm sure that we might be able to do something about where it is allowed to happen, so that people aren't subject to seeing people getting stoned on the streets, here, there, everywhere. I think that if we had some type of restriction as to where they would do it, we can't stop them from doing it, but we might be able to have some input as to where it's going to be done. And I think that that's what we have to work, what we'll have to work with possibly, and to work the confines of that, of what we're able to do in and around that.
Mr. Colby, please, the same question.
You know, much as we've got restrictions on where we sell alcohol, restrictions on public drunkenness, and restrictions that are similar to that, we'll likely be able to have similar restrictions with respect to pot sales. Truth be told, we've got to wait and we've got to see what the feds come out with in terms of their legislation. Then we've got to wait and we've got to see what the province comes out with in terms of their regulation. The reality is I'll absolutely be an advocate for making sure that our community is safe. There's no question about that. I've got to make sure that we stay within the boundaries of the law, and make sure that if there's restrictions for sale within a certain distance from the school, as there is with alcohol sales, that those are reasonable, common sense restrictions that we implement. Thank you very much.
Ms. Bauer, same question, please.
I can answer this two ways. It's all, all in a way, the demographic that I would like to vote for me, I could say, oh yeah, I support it 100%. But I do support the legalization. I really believe that there's an industry out there that we really can take advantage of within the capital region. I think with Aurora setting up at the airport, we have lots of opportunity to have secondary industry here in Beaumont. So I wouldn't close the door on it at all. There are medicinal values that we need to appreciate and respect. So I think that as far as council's concerned, I think it goes to policing. I think that we need to ensure that we have the supports in place for the policing so we can come together as a community and tackle the challenges that might arise.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, one of the problems of going last on a multi-candidate question is they really all said what you want to say. So I'm not going to hit the highlights. So we know we have to wait for rules from the federal government. We know we have to wait for the province. While we're doing that, we should be looking down into places like Colorado and Denver and that have gone through this process and start looking for what the problems they have, what their best practices were, and what they're having to solve it. So that perhaps when it comes time for Beaumont to implement these regulations, we don't have to totally reinvent the wheel.
Okay, excellent. So you haven't done your single question yet, so we're going to do a row of those.
Yes,
Okay. Oh, this question. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Please.
I'm going to be honest, I do own shares in Aurora Cannabis. I do. If I could have obtained medical marijuana for my mom when she was suffering through the side effects of Crohn's, I would have helped her. But it wasn't legal at that time. Legalization is coming, and we need to be ready for it. It depends largely on the regulations that are going to be offloaded from the federal government to the province, and then from the province to us. We do have our land use bylaw, and through that, We can put restrictions on where it is sold, not adjacent to schools, playgrounds, places where children gather, that kind of thing. We can use the existing tobacco bylaw and smoking bylaw, again, to put some kind of restrictions on where it is consumed. And I'm also looking very ahead and hopefully with my fingers crossed that we're going to be able to be given the impairment tools to allow impairment to be measured so we can make sure we don't have drivers and people on the roads operating vehicles under the impairment of marijuana as they are with alcohol. Thank you.
I believe we are starting with Mr. Fortress with individual questions. So from the floor, how do you make downtown more pedestrian friendly?
Sure, give me the hard one. It's hard to do because of the situation that we have downtown at the moment. It's a very small street. Therefore, there are a few crosswalks here and there. We have to do a lot more research as to what we can change, possibly to come up with some friendly amendments to the downtown. But with the situation the way it is and the layout of the downtown with parking on the street, it doesn't really give you a lot to work with, especially not on 50th Street in the very center. In other areas around downtown, you could put in some trails going in between the new developments that are coming up. But as of right now, on the very main street of 50th Street, you're very limited as to what your options can be. So it's a matter of researching, talking with the residents, talking with the businesses, and see what the best answers are.
For me, I would like to see...
Oh, Ms. Summers, actually, this is an individual question for you from the floor. Yes.
Please forgive me.
No, not to worry. We're in this together. Ms. Summers, what is your past experience in municipal, provincial, and federal government?
I've been involved in a lot of issues when it comes to anything that comes up that deserves a voice, like say abortion issues and things like that. I've had my foot in the door with those. Even if I have to, give correspondence to the Prime Minister or to the mayor, like in Edmonton or somewhere, I will do that. And I will make calls. I will forward correspondence. I will do emailing, things like that. I have been involved with these issues, for quite a few years now. And I was actually going to run for Prime Minister, but I didn't have how much money to do that. But I've been involved ongoingly with these type of things. And I do whatever I can, whatever boundaries that I can cross to actually accomplish that. That's what I do.
My apologies, there's a lot of repeat questions here. I'm just trying to find something relevant. Mr. Colby, how would you promote the construction of new schools in Beaumont, including a Francophone school?
Thank you very much for that question. It's particularly prescient with respect to the Francophone school because the current council, and at least one of the individuals who's on stage with me right now, has threatened that school with the revocation of its temporary development permit. This is, of course, a massive challenge for the school that needs to be corrected. And what needs to happen is as we're planning, as we're bringing out new developments, we need to work with the developers to ensure that the land is set aside for those schools in the first place, that those school sites are properly serviced so we don't end up with a situation like Colonial where there were 2 school sites and only sufficient roads to service the one. And as a result, Blackcomb rejected and the Francophone School Division rejected that site. In addition, we need to be actively leaders in lobbying the ministry and lobbying certainly the trustees to make sure that they're aware of our massive growth and our massive youth growth particularly and respond to it.
Ms. Bauer, what is wrong with Beaumont and what is right with Beaumont? from the floor.
I don't think anything's wrong with Beaumont. I think that we have an amazing history that we have built on, and we have built on our assets thus far. I really don't believe that there's anything wrong, and what's really great is, well, you guys are here. You're part of the process, and I would have to say what's best about Beaumont and what's right about Beaumont is the sense of community that you guys make it.
I'm going to quickly skip. Oh no, I'm not. I'll take that back. Okay, I'm not quickly skipping. I'm going back to the floor. Mr. Stewart, what are some specific ways you would modernize our town beyond the new town website and the big light up sign? It's a spicy crowd tonight.
So specific ways to modernize the town besides the sign and the website. So I take it the gist is communications. I gotta be honest, that's Sam Monkov's area of expertise. And so my role is I'm going to find experts like Sam, and I'm going to pull him in and steal all his ideas and get the job done.
Now I'm going to interject with a question from Chamber. Ms. Bauer, question number 5 was, what specifically are your skills and track record when it comes to working and attracting businesses, and how will you use those skills and experience as mayor?
I think I would truly be myself. You know, people know what I'm about. It's such a weird question, and I apologize. I think that I have good communication skills where you can work with others and show people. I think just working at the Crepe and Shake, you meet so many different people, and you have an opportunity to inspire. And I really feel that you can inspire and empower other people to make a difference, come, open their doors, and to really buy into Beaumont. And I really think, you know, I think it's the best skill I have is my passion.
Sorry, I forgot where I stepped. I got this. Okay. I wanted to ask all of you the same question from the floor. I think it's an important question. I want to do it a bit randomly, so you're going to have to bear with me if I forget somebody. Okay? You can all call out and be like, Amber, you forgot somebody. So let's start with Ms. Summers. How do you propose to support non-for-profit organizations that are very important to life in Beaumont?
Can you add a word to that? I'm not quite getting you here.
Well, from the floor, someone has asked, how do you propose to support not-for-profit organizations that are important to life in Beaumont?
Well, just keep an open door to them. And do what you can to assist them so they can be lucrative in what they're doing. And I think that's about all you can do. If they choose to do their operations in Beaumont, that's a choice that they make, and not something, I don't know if we have a lot of input as to them going about doing, but just assist them and support them in any way that we can, providing information services within the town hall so people can be made aware of the organization, things like that.
Mr. Portress, seeing as you have that microphone in your hand, go right ahead.
Well, as you know, I've worked with a lot of different community groups around town. I know when we built the water play park, the town accountant was absolutely fantastic in helping us saving thousands of dollars in tax dollars by putting all the expenses of the water park through the town and paying the town rate on taxes rather than the full rate of GST. The town helped us save, like I said, tens of thousands of dollars in taxes alone on that for one project. It's hard these days because we're growing so fast for the accountant to be able to do those things, but I believe there are certain avenues while we're working with the community groups that we can maybe assist them in getting some of their things done that benefits the entire community. So we have to open the door, look and see what it is we can do that doesn't interfere with the regular day-to-day business of the town. And I do believe that is very possible.
Our community nonprofits, right? These are the heart of our community. They run our sports programs, they run our dance programs, they run our arts programs, they run culture. This is how we community build, this is how we connect. And so it's very important to me that these groups are supported. A couple of ways the town can do it is we can make sure that we have the infrastructure and facilities for them to execute their programs in, and we can make sure that it's at a cost that doesn't bankrupt them and force them to out of town to do other things. The other thing we can specifically do is we can sort of help them advertise, we can have great programs on our websites, we have a big sign, we have the sign on top of the nickel. I mean, we can access those programs and help them out. It's just, I don't know the ideas. These are great groups.
First of all, recognize them as an asset. I think that's the biggest thing right now, and see that their value is not just, see their value in time and effort and passion other than monetary. I think that right now we need to recognize that time that they put in is far more valuable than money. When we look at these things, we need to look at we need to develop partnerships, we need to look at some policy. I know that when I was on council, I made a notice of motion to put forward a community group affiliation policy that would assess resources, capacity build, and look at some other things that we need to look at with our community groups. And I think that right now we need strong policy.
Thank you. You know, as we were building about in the front, and people were coming in, Mr. Kennedy walked in the front door, and I looked at him. And at first I didn't recognize him, but he recognized me. And said, "Mr. Kennedy?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "You coached me baseball some number of years ago." And he said, "Yes, that had best left undocumented how many years ago that was." But the point of it being, community volunteer organizations drive our community forward. They're how our kids get to learn to play hockey, how to play baseball, how to dance. They're how our kids go to cadets. They're everything that happens in this town. We absolutely need to support them, and if that means we need to support them through coordination, if that means we need to be able to provide advertising for them on that big screen or in the community newspaper where we advertise extensively. Certainly we need to be able to look at those resources for them. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, there's probably not one person in this room who is not a member of a community volunteer organization or a not-for-profit organization. You really are the backbone, the heart, and the root of our community, and you are all what makes life better here in Beaumont through your participation in those organizations. Many organizations do come to council asking for grant money, and if they've done their due diligence, they're usually successful. We can also help with space. The Aquafit Phase 2, for example, will have space for community volunteer organizations. We have some space that we can offer free of charge, although it's already pretty much fully booked. There is some left. And we can give reasonable breaks on our rent and other spaces. We can provide staff support for the planning. We've heard about support for the accounting and the financial side. We can have staff help with, and we do have staff help us set up and tear down a community volunteer organization events. So we can continue, we can build on these, on what we already have, we can build on these to carry them forward. Thank you.
get to a chamber question now. And our final respondent is Ms. Summers. Who does the mayor need to work with, and how do you plan to improve Beaumont's business and industry tax base?
We have to work with all levels of government, if at all possible, to assist with businesses. We have to keep the business, I believe that the commercial business tax should be equivalent or equal to the residential. They should be impeded by being charged more than residents for their property taxes. That's some of the things that we can do. We need to provide a base where we can actually do advertising in regards to exposing what they intend to do in the community and supporting them in any way that we can. Whether it means selling annexed property that the town has bought in order for them to go in and do business, then do that, but not to impede them from coming in. Impede them, and why would they want to come here and start a business at all?
Back to your questions from the floor. I believe we're at you, Mr. McCray. How do you propose to engage residents on social media?
The town of Beaumont has started and has been increasing their social media presence every year through Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and have I missed anything, Sheila? There's a lot. We definitely will continue to do that. We do have the technology in our council chambers to live stream our council meetings. We will be implementing that, I hope, in 2018. I'd like to see that go forward. We do have a full-time communications officer, and we do have a full-time IT specialist, and they're here tonight streaming this video or this meeting. We are going to continue to build on that. We have people monitoring social media, and when something comes out that's not right, or that's misleading, our people are right on there with the facts, posting them on our website. We're going to continue to build on that. We're going to continue to expand our social media presence, and so more information, more factual information gets out to all our residents. Thank you.
Mr. Portress, from the floor, what will happen to the dog park?
Well, the dog park was always supposed to be a temporary location. And from the dog owners I've talked to, including my wife and my daughter, they bring their dogs there all the time, it's just not sufficient for long term. We need to find the proper location, the proper size, and that's with, I believe, with the new developments that we're going to be developing in the next little while, find a location where we can put a dog park that doesn't interfere with anything and it's a safe area, it's well developed, with trees, nice grass, not mud all over the place. We need a better park in a good location that's safe for everyone.
Thank you. Ms. Summers, will you advocate and lobby the province for a new high school?
Well, we have a lot of resources to actually start that new high school as it is. I will do whatever, if the province or the federal government will provide any assistance to help to do that, I will do that. I will do whatever necessary to get it in as soon as possible, because I had heard that there's going to be a lot of children who are going to be leaving a certain grade in school, and they're going to be needing that high school ready for next fall. And that means getting on the bandwagon ASAP on that.
Thank you. I'm trying to find a balance on the questions. We're all looking for that, aren't we? Mr. Coley, how will you support downtown redevelopment?
Thank you. I think downtown redevelopment needs to happen with an understanding of the context of the businesses that are around. The unfortunate thing is we've had a number of businesses that have been around in some cases for many decades that have died as a result of overly forceful push for redevelopment. Chateau on the Hill is an unfortunate example of that. And we've had businesses that have come close to that as well. Bond Depot and how Gold Dragon used to be Beaujolais, those sites have also been very severely threatened by the aggressive push towards redevelopment now, rather than a push towards redevelopment over the medium to long term. We need to respect the existing business and the existing usages of those land before we redevelop. Thank you.
Ms. Bauer, when municipalities begin priority-based budgeting, it typically means that departments are lobbied and changed from the inside forces. On the floor. How would you encourage efficient spending?
The whole premise of priority-based budgeting is to focus on the priorities, and there's a scale, there's a whole system where it's a point system and you can determine which things are priority. And those are based on specifics, whether or not the community can offer that service somewhere else or within the public sector or the private sector. So I think that the whole program itself, priority-based budgeting, speaks to building efficiencies. That's the whole point, and we adopted that this past year.
Mr. Stewart, I have this question several times, and I think we've answered it. I hope that you have not. Do you support the building of a performing arts center as proposed by the Beaumont Society of the Arts and others, and/or a multicultural center?
Yeah, I answered that one about an hour ago.
My
I
bad.
can do it again though.
No, no.
For the record, I'm still a pay road.
Right, we can all say this. As mayor, how will you work with administration to set goals?
It all comes down to working as a team, and you have to be collaborative. So when you're working with administration and you're working with council, you have to get everybody in the room, find out what the priorities are, and have a very robust discussion around it. So that you know what the resources that you have to put towards your goals are, so you know which order to put them in. Kind of off top, kind of off track, but the bottom line here, it's a collaborative process. You gotta get everybody in the room, you gotta talk.
This is for everyone. And this will be our final question. Or, I'm sorry, I'm sure it's very great. This will be our final question before closing remarks, and everyone will have a chance to answer that, starting with Mr. McCrenna. Beaumont has taken the 20th, the 7th, and now the 5th fastest growing community in the country. How will you keep this going?
Do we really want to keep it going at this stage? Legally, we can't say no if a landowner sells the property to a developer and that developer wants to develop it to meet the market demand. And that's really what's driving our community. People look around, they see a safe, vibrant, beautiful town, and they want to move here. As our population increases, more businesses want to move here, and it perpetuates that cycle. I think we'd all love to see us pause and take a breath and get caught up. The reality is that legally we can't slow it down. It's based on the market demand, and if people love our town, they want to keep moving here, our biggest challenge is going to be to manage that growth as a council and as an administration.
We are going to grow. There's no doubt about that. We're probably in one of the prime locations in the capital region that people are wanting to move to. What we need to do as a council is make decisions of how the developments will take place. Put rules in place so that we get neighborhoods that you would be happy to live in. that 20 years from now, people will still be happy to live in. Put rules in place that we control how it will look now and into the future. There's certain guidelines that we can change to improve on what we do now to give us that small town feel, to keep that small town feel as long as we possibly can. But it's development by development, area of town by area of town. It's a little bit at a time. It's not just a general, well, we're not going to grow, so we're going to stop this. We can't stop the growth. It is coming. But it's how we control the growth that will matter.
We have to give people a reason to want to come here. A lot of people come here, they experience Beaumont, and a lot of people move. They don't like the high taxes, they don't like the lack of services, they don't like the way public facilitators, a lot of them are running this town, and how it's problematic to them. So their experience, once they first come here, the impression that they get when they first come here is going to determine whether they're going to stay or whether they're going to continue to stay here. We have to give them reason to want to stay here. We've got to lower the amount of financial, expectations that we have of them for services that we're providing to them. We have to immediately, if I am elected as your mayor, I will immediately reduce the property taxes right away. That's the big thing. I will not be waiting on that because we have more than enough money to implement that. And that will be drawing people to the town. Businesses too, lowering their commercial tax. That will be drawing them to the community.
Thank you, Ms. Summers.
So, my question about growth, we've heard an awful lot of group, an awful lot of people about this. And, the reality is, my family moved here in 1978. We've been here for 38 years. And I am happy for the 17,000 brand new neighbors that we've developed over the last 38 years. And I'm incredibly happy about the 8,000 that we've gotten over the last 10 or so years. What we do need to do, we need to come around on the backside and make sure that we've got some more business growth to balance that out, to make sure that people have got jobs and that they've got some balance to our tax base in the town. But it's not something that's an impossible achievement. Right? I mean, we just take a look at the lessons from some of the other communities around, like Strathcona County, like Fort Saskatchewan, and we start to actually go out and attract business, attract strong, smart, clean, light industrial businesses, like things like data centers, project management firms, consulting firms, and those will ultimately drive our prosperity and our future growth. Thank you.
I think it's fair to say that we can anticipate the growth. I think taking a holistic approach, a systems approach to all the developments, understanding that everything, the rec centers affect the businesses. We need to ensure that we take a holistic approach to anything going forward. But first of all, I think we need to talk. We need to talk to the residents and really find out what's important to them and why. And start with the why so we can turn around, we can determine a vision for the town of Beaumont collectively, build on what we have, and create strong policy.
I gotta say, I gotta agree with Bruce. I wouldn't mind if we dropped out into double digits. Growth has been really hard to deal with over the last 10 years. A little pause would allow us to catch up on our infrastructure, allow us to slow down, take that break, and all of a sudden, we as a town can start to drive development versus having developers drive development. If we can partner with them, sit with them in a room, collaborate, and manage that growth, we can make sure we have the rec centers and the soccer fields and the baseball diamonds and all the things in place when we get the residents moving into town. So honestly, I really think we should try and slow growth down rather than keep growth sped up.
Thank you all. And thank you for being so respectful of time. I will call on all of you to do your closing remarks. You have 3 minutes, and we will be starting with Mr. Stewart, please.
Whew, it's been a long night. Answered lots of questions. Talked to lots of people. Okay, I would like to thank you all for coming tonight and listening to the various candidates for mayor. We've heard some great ideas and had some really good discussions. Election day in Beaumont is a big deal. Beaumont stands at a crossroads. It's our chance to decide who will lead town council and represent you and the rest of the citizens of Beaumont in a strategic vision that we have now and for our future. But before you vote for the next mayor on October the 16th, I implore you to take a minute to consider what you heard tonight and to further research your mayoralty candidates. I'd like you to read our posts on social media, go through our platforms on our websites, and reach out to us in conversation. And then be ready to cast your vote this fall armed with facts and not opinions. Being mayor is about having the leadership skills, the experience, and the commitment to guide council as it guides the town. It's extremely hard work. Being mayor is among some of the most important work that can be done within our community. To me, it really is community service of the highest order, and it needs to be looked at that way. The mayor is one vote among 7. Done right, the mayor needs to be a team leader, building consensus, making sure the views of our fellow council members, our administration, our user groups, and ultimately the citizens of Beaumont are taken into our council's decision-making process and are considered. It's a very tall order. We need to remember that while we're taking into account those views, that we need to be accountable to the citizens of Beaumont for the decisions that we make. If we can do this, and we can make the compromises and develop the strategies and incorporate the great ideas from wherever they come from, we can continue to be the community of choice. I'm confident in my abilities to be that leader we need. Together, we can elect a mayor with leadership, experience, and commitment, and I humbly ask for your support on October the 16th. Please vote John Stewart. Thank you.
Mrs. Summers.
I wanted to thank you all so much for coming here and giving us all the opportunity to actually tell you things about ourselves and how we feel about things. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you'll support me as mayor because I believe that I am the right person for the job. I believe I am, and the reason why is that I care. I've always cared about people. No matter what job I've gotten into, my caring comes from the people and the needs of the people. When I came to Beaumont, I struggled so much when I came here. And I had told the current administration, I said, if you don't do things to change things around here, I shouldn't have to look at running for mayor, but I will do it. And that's why I'm here today. Because I struggled when I came here. I know what the issues of the people. As I continue to meet more and more people, I hear what they have to say, and I see how the councillors, the current councillors who are here running for mayor, how they defer on things, how they put it off and put it off and put it off. And that's not fair to the residents of Beaumont. That's not fair to business owners who want to get going and things done in this town. It's not fair to them to continue to do that to them. If you really care for people, you are going to not only listen and talk the talk, you are actually going to walk the walk. And I will do that for all of you and everybody else in this community because I care about you. I care about what happened to me and what people are going through here, not only from what just me, but I care about those. And to have the monthly meetings, actually to meet with the public and to hear ongoingly what they have to say, because the needs of the community continue to change, and you have to be willing to sit with them and hear what they are, and not wait 10 years like one of this person here was saying, wait a long time for this and this and this. I believe in action now. When we have the capabilities to do things now for the community, why would we wait? Why would we put it off one more day, one more hour? When I come into power, I plan on reducing the property tax right away. I'm going to be meeting, if I'm elected mayor, I'm doing some preliminary work actually for building and planning of the multi-service center, which will house the town hall, the youth and senior center and all of this type of thing. That is one thing. Instead of paying into all these different buildings, I will erect that and move on it right away. Because why put all this money out? The taxpayers are paying a lot of money. And what are they getting in return for that? Paying for their garbage? That should be part and parcel to get garbage pickup. Paying high property tax when we have more than enough money to function and run. We're taking out of that. They have enough federal tax and all these different taxes. Why would we take more from them?
Mr. Porter.
I was one of the last people to announce the run for mayor this year. Since then, I've been hitting the road, door to door, every night, talking to many of you, and I plan on doing that for the next 2.5 weeks until the election day. There's a number of issues that come up at the door, and a lot of the issues that are coming up today are the same issues that I was talking about 10 years ago. A lot of issues have not changed in our town. We've taken a safe approach rather than taking a progressive approach. We need to look at our future. Some of the things that I want to do as your mayor is improve communication. Have an open door policy with the neighbors, the neighboring communities, our business leaders, our community groups, and especially you, the general public. Now, how do we do that? What I plan on doing is something that's done at the federal level quite often, and that's town hall meetings on a regular basis. We open the door, we advertise when they are. You want to come and talk to us about any issues that you have, questions you may have, problems that are happening in your neighborhoods. The door is open, you come and sit around the table and we discuss it. We need to meet community groups and business owners to discuss their concerns as well, and build a great working relationship with all of our neighbors, Leduc County, City of Edmonton, Devon, and so on. I want to do a total review of the town operations and bylaws. I hear many complaints about town procedures and bylaws that residents and business owners think are outdated or unfair to them. With a very new council this year, it's a perfect time to have a review of our entire operations and bylaws. This will give the new council and the residents an opportunity to have their input. Another issue is starting the research and planning of the multiplex for our future. It's clear from the people I've talked to at the doors that the plans for a multiplex must be undertaken right away. People want a building for the future, something that will last us for the next 20 to 30 years. The plans that we've done in the past have been short-sighted. It's been for today and for yesterday. And we're still looking for more facilities as soon as those buildings open. We need to think further into the future. Beaumont has been a great community. I've been here for almost 26 years. I love this community. That's why I'm here this evening. I have loved this community since the day I came here. Life is better in Beaumont. Now I'd like to make it even better than that. On October 16th, I ask for your support. Please vote Gil Poitras as your mayor.
Mr. DeCrone.
We all love Beaumont and are committed to our town. I have lived here for 20 years. I've raised my 3 boys here, I married my first wife here, and I met my second wife, Dale, here. My family origins are French. My ancestors were Huguenots who were forced out of France for their beliefs. Family history has it they escaped to England, hidden in empty wine barrels on a fishing boat. I am proud that my ancestry is French and that I live in a community that celebrates its French heritage. Mon famille sont français, les ancêtres écriants des Huguenots qui ont été forcés de sortir de la France pour leurs croyances. Les antécédents familiaux m'ont échappé en Angleterre, caché dans les barils de vide sur un bateau de pêche. Je suis fier que mon ascendance soit le français et que je vis dans une communauté qui célèbre son héritage français. I fully support the French Village plans and visions that make Beaumont a unique destination in Alberta. Developers are embracing our vision, many telling me they want to do business in Beaumont because they strive to work and maintain a unique identity that showcases their own brands. I have served as your councillor now for 7 years, from 2007 to 2010, and from 2013 until now. I have extensive work and volunteer experience, and I ask you to please read my brochure that tells you about my readiness to be your next mayor. I know from experience that the office of mayor requires a full-time commitment. I will give the time required to lead council, engage with you, the residents, support local organizations, and represent Beaumont within and beyond our town as I have during my 7 years as your councillor. That extends to our neighbors in Leduc County and the City of Leduc and our partners in the Metro region. I know many of the elected officials from my work as your councillor. I am confident that if I am returned, that we can and will work together successfully on many issues with all the newly elected officials around the region, even and including the City of Edmonton. The mayor also represents Beaumont on the national and provincial stages. I have been an ambassador for Beaumont on both those stages. I have had many discussions with our regional members of the Legislative Assembly, especially our own MLA, the Honourable Shay Anderson, Minister of Municipal Affairs. The office of mayor requires leadership, experience, and integrity to meet the coming challenges and opportunities. I bring these qualities to that office. I congratulate all those who have taken on the challenge of running for elected office, and I further pledge to work with whomever you, the voters, select as your next council. I'm to wish the friend. I humbly ask for your support on October 16th.
Sorry, Chip, I'm going to be paying for your camera. That's okay, because nobody online wants to. I'm going to apologize to all of you here who have to and can't avoid it. Annie points the camera right at me.
Can you put that microphone on?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Annie points the camera right after me anyway. So, I want to say a big thanks to the Chamber for inviting us and having us out here. I also want to say a big thanks to all of you for being here. Also, I think it's really, really important. I want to say a big thanks to Camille and Joanne, both. The tremendous service that you and your family have provided to our community over the last 2.5 decades are remarkable. I know you've taken more than your share of barbs, some of them for me, over your time. And I hope you'll treat the next mayor with perhaps a tad more kindness than we've all treated you. I want to try something here. This morning, Carrie and I presented to a grade 6 class. Man, those 11-year-olds are incredibly intelligent and ask fantastic questions. But I want to do something that I did there. I want everybody to sit up, stretch a little bit. We've all been sitting for 2 hours now. I want you to look to the person to your left. Now I want you to look to the person to your right. Now I want you to think about this. 2 out of 3 people in Beaumont will not vote in this election. Okay. We are, as John has pointed out, at an absolute crossroads in this town. It is absolutely critical that you vote. So I'm going to ask you to do this. When you go home tonight, all of you are going to vote, it's sure. I'd ask you to go and talk to your neighbor, talk to your friends, talk to the guy at Max, talk to the guy at the liquor store, talk to the guy at the nail salon, the lady at the nail salon. Whatever the case may be, and say to get out and vote. Because quite frankly, we have advanced polls on the 2nd and the 9th of October. We've got regular polling on the 16th of October, so that's 3 opportunities, all of which are at the CCBCC. And if you can't make it any of those 3 days, you just have to call Rhonda West at the town office, and she's going to send you a special ballot that you can just mail in. So truthfully, there is no excuse not to vote. I would certainly like to encourage you to vote for me, but regardless of the case, do get out and vote, please. My name is Patrick Coley, and I'd love to be your mayor.
heard over the last few weeks, maybe the last few months, is she really strong enough to lead the municipality? Well, I say damn straight I'm strong enough. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a beloved pet guardian, and I'm a successful business owner. I am and have been a town councillor for the last 4 years. I am strong enough, yet I am sensitive enough. I am aware enough, I am open-minded enough to work toward taking Beaumont to a much greater height. But to be clear, I never work alone. I am nothing without the collaborative effort of those of whom I share in our creative endeavors. It is precisely for that reason that I look forward to working closely with a team of committed councillors who are dedicated to translating your concerns and aspirations into functional, fiscally responsible policy that serve to unveil our potential and to create optimum conditions for the growth, development, expansion, and maintenance of our extraordinary community. We don't need to change, we need to grow. Our soil is rich, our seeds are of quality historical stock. Don't discount what we have done so far. Don't insinuate that there is something wrong with who and what we are. We have come a long way. We have done great things. Let's keep it going. Let's build on what we have. I don't have all the answers, and that's why I need you. I don't have a set plan to resolve all of the current issues. That's why I need you. Jerry Patsula served on Beaumont Town Council for more than 10 years. He was dedicated, hardworking, committed to the service of his constituents, and he was my dad. Dad's motto was, never take anything for granted. Work to prove your merit every day. Life is good, yet tenuous at best. So none of us should take anything for granted. But I'm here to tell you that there is one thing that you can count on, and that is, I will always work to prove my merit. I will always stand for the best interest of this exceptional community. I'd like to take a moment to thank the past community leaders, for without your commitment and resolve, we'd not be here today. I would also like to thank the Beaumont Chamber for providing a forum for optimum growth. My name is Carrie Bauer.
It is my pleasure to thank members of the Chamber who have worked very hard on this, especially over the last couple of days. Kelly, our timekeeper, Carla and Linda, our question finders, our town liaison, Bert, Lisa for the coordination of these 2 nights. We are very grateful. I'd like to thank the current Mayor and Council, His Worship Mayor Beaumont, for his 20 years of service, and the current councillors as well, on behalf of the Chamber. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and engaging in democracy. Fantastic. I look forward to seeing you at the opportunities to vote. And especially I'd like to thank the candidates for a thought-filled evening. Please, if you have questions of those candidates, I am sure they'd be happy to take them privately. Thank you, and have a safe night.